Previously on Cupid's Chocolates, we witnessed how Jiang Haoyi, who was just a normal university student, got involved with multiple women after eating a magical Cupid's chocolate that made Haoyi the dream of every single one of those girls. Haoyi had been on quite the journey as he was solving problems for the girls to get them back to normal, but what ended up happening was that the process of Haoyi helping the girls out just led to the girls falling in love with him for real. After Xia, Tang, and Lin, Haoyi had just recently helped a popular star named Sandy fight back against her complications with her agency, revolving around her freedom. Haoyi did manage to save Sandy safely, but when Sandy invited Haoyi and Mei Tata to a concert, Sandy's expression of gratitude got taken by a misunderstanding that led Haoyi to hide around the town as almost every single guy was envious of him. Haoyi was hiding around from not only the crazy fans of Sandy, but Ouyang as well, and he ended up coming across Miss G while he's trying to hide from the world in a bush. Miss G initially jokes with him, but she ends up accepting when Haoyi offers to be her servant for 3 months. Miss G takes Haoyi to a local cafe as she was leaving for somewhere important, and hands him over to the waiter. Haoyi is able to finally relax a little when he ends up coming across a random man who claims to be the one who made Cupid's chocolates. He sits down to have a chat with Haoyi, and as the two are talking, Haoyi receives a call from Xia. He tells her about his location and that he is alright, which leads to Xia coming over. Just as Haoyi is done with the call, the man sitting in front of him asks him whether he believes in magic or not, and leaves before Xia arrives after leaving something strange as a present. Mei Tata, who was looking at them from the window, is later confronted by the same guy as well, who tells her about how she has been causing problems with her power. The warning leads Mei Tata to apologize, basically seeking mercy that leads the guy to accept and return Mei Tata's ability to control her magic back again. While Mei Tata was busy with the owner of Cupid's Chocolates, Ouyang was at her place in her usual obsession for Haoyi. She revealed how she wishes to have Haoyi to herself, but Ouyang's mother, who was also there, seemed to be quite against the idea of Ouyang marrying someone like Haoyi. Xia arrives and Sandy clears out all the misunderstandings that was going on with Haoyi via an interview. Since Xia had come a long way, Haoyi decides not to waste her time and takes her on a nice trip to the mall where the two enjoy themselves. On their way back from the trip, the pair is having a good time while walking together when they get interrupted by a girl who lost to Tang back at the Anime Expo. The girl had brought thugs with her to teach the duo a lesson, and they managed to take Haoyi and Xia to the secluded area to beat them up. Xia is trying to call the police when Haoyi shows something actually unbelievable as our nerdy and not the smartest protagonist beats up all the thugs easily by himself. The police arrive after the matter had been wrapped up, and as they reveal that Haoyi's parents are also cops, Haoyi walks away after not being seemingly interested in talking at all, leading Xia to believe that something is up with him. As Haoyi is walking away, remembering some moments of his childhood that he spent with his dad, Xia kept following him despite him trying to just go away. Haoyi ends up accepting Xia's efforts and her concern, telling her his backstory. Haoyi reveals how throughout his childhood he just wanted to be a policeman, just like his parents, but his parents' lack of love for him made him start to hate cops. Haoyi finally gave up on becoming a police officer when he was kidnapped, and even then, his father sent someone else to retrieve him as he was busy somewhere else. Haoyi's sad childhood was filled with colors when he came across Miss G, who also lived in his neighborhood. G was the one who taught things to Haoyi when his parents were not around and provided him with the love one expects from a family. Miss G's love for Haoyi, despite her busy life, made Haoyi really burst into tears once, since he had never felt this loving feeling before. Some time passed just like that, and even on New Year's Eve, Haoyi's parents were not quite there, but to everyone else, it just seemed that they were your average loving family. Haoyi's backstory filled with sadness made Xia really sad, since she and the girls were just putting their problems upon Haoyi without ever thinking about him. Xia assured Haoyi that she will always be there for him, and from now on he can rely on her to make Haoyi happy, and he gave the crying Xia a tight embrace of acceptance. While this emotional interaction was going on, Mei Tata is revealed to be also watching from a distance, and she leaves with tears in her eyes as well while realizing all the moments she had spent with Haoyi, implying that alongside the girls, Mei Tata had also fallen in love with him at this point. Mei is confronted by another guy of her kind who is revealed to have a crush on her. The guy tells Mei to come back, but Mei rejects the offer, remarking that she has fallen for a human despite being a magical creature herself. After having a conversation with the guy from earlier, Mei is shown to be at Haoyi's university as she is getting sad eating chips while thinking about how Haoyi loves Xia. Haoyi, who had just received a moment of peace, is called again by Xia, telling him that Tang needs their help for the upcoming event. Tang had gotten stuck in rain, and since she had forgotten her crown for her queen cosplay there, Xia sent Haoyi to retrieve it while she prepared for her part in the play. Haoyi reaches the school and meets the sad Meitata there, who still claims to be crying about the fact that Haoyi is in love with Xia. Haoyi makes her happy after remarking that there is nothing going on between him and Xia as of now, and proceeds to retrieve the crown from Tang's locker. Xia, who had prepared for her part in the play, is backstage trembling from the fear and nervousness from all that audience. Xia notices two more girls around her being in panic as well, and decides to get herself together to fix the environment before Tang arrives. Tang, who is still at the bus stop, sad about whether she would make it or not, is approached by Haoyi, who gives her the crown and proceeds to carry her to the convention as she wouldn't be able to walk well in her dress. Xia starts off the play, and Tang joins her later to secure first place after making all the fans at the expo go crazy. The hectic day wraps up for Haoyi, and just when the guy had reached his bed at home completely beaten up, Meitata pulls up again at Haoyi's place with dozens of ordered packages to add to Haoyi's problems. A little time passes in the usual lives of Haoyi and the girls when the school camping trip finally arrives. Xia was going along with Haoyi and his group initially, but later Tang and even Lin managed to sneak their names in, joining Haoyi for the trip. The group heads for the camping, and just as expected from a guy, Haoyi receives the job of carrying the luggage of the rest. Tang ends up sharing some of the luggage out of pity for Haoyi, and after a long hike, the group finally reaches the camping spot. They set things up, and seeing Xia close to Haoyi makes Tang believe that she needs to try harder to get her place in Haoyi's heart as well. Lunchtime comes up, and Haoyi gets in a pinch yet again, as all of the girls wanted to make and feed him different food. As if this much chaos alone was not enough for a guy like Haoyi, he receives a call from Yang, who literally ends up coming to the location on a helicopter. She drops down with a katana in her hands, claiming Haoyi is hers, leading the girls to get pissed. Yang gets too extreme with her craziness when she just wastes the food that the girls had prepared, which leads to the camping equipment catching fire. Xia and Tang head to get water from the river, while Haoyi gets angry at Yang, telling her that whatever she is doing is not funny at all. Haoyi heads to help at the river as the two girls had fallen into it. Yang still doesn't realize what she had done and is trying to stop Haoyi when Lin gets angry at her and slaps her, telling her that she needs to stop. Initially, the slap makes Yang angry, and just when she is about to retaliate and hit Lin remarks that what she is doing is not right, and her behavior will just make Haoyi hate her. Yang calms down, and Lin uses a map of the area to figure out where the downstream would be leading the three. Haoyi, who had also jumped in the river, reaches the girls successfully, while Lin and Yang are on their way to look for them. Yang, who looks like she is a crazy and a strong girl, seems to be scared of little things like tree branches, and later when the two sit down to catch a breath, Yang reveals the reason for her behavior is her fear that Haoyi might leave her like he did when she was younger. Haoyi successfully manages to save the girls, and later Yang and Lin join them as well. Yang falls into Haoyi's arms, remarking that she feels bad for whatever she did, and will not do something like that again, leading Haoyi into comforting her after accepting her apology. The group finally sits down to have a normal conversation while they're camping, as Yang clings a lot to Haoyi. Since only a single sleeping bag was left in the fire from earlier, the group decided to compromise and share it. After insisting, Yang manages to sleep next to Haoyi, while Xia seems to be not so happy about it. The next morning arrives, and Haoyi opens his eyes to Yang desperately trying to get close to him again. This closeness makes Tang mad, and she starts a fight with Yang for the claim on Haoyi. Haoyi approaches Lin, who is trying to figure out the way to escape at a little distance. While Haoyi is appreciating Lin's efforts, the quarrel between the girls gets bigger, and just when Haoyi is intending to step in, Lin, who was already suffering from blurry vision, passes out. The crew decides that it's necessary to take Lin to the hospital, and just when Haoyi remarks that he will carry her back as he is aware of the path as well, Oh Young's mother pulls up on a helicopter with guards as well. She tries to lecture Oh Young, hoping that she would resist, but to her surprise, Oh Young just accepts her order while requesting to take Lin back with them to the hospital. The mother and daughter leave with Lin, and Oh Young's mother was nice enough to send an off-road vehicle to pick the rest of the kids up. The trip wraps up, and Haoyi is at his place, preparing for a visit by Xia as the bell rings and Haoyi's friend Ye arrives to have a chat with him. Xia was still on her way when Ye got angry with Haoyi for how he's just toying with Oh Young. The conversation gets a little rough, and Xia ends up hearing all of it before Ye leaves. At Xia's request, Haoyi reveals how he and Oh Young used to be really close friends in the past, and how Oh Young always stuck close to him. Oh Young's behavior started to change when she got a little older as she started getting more possessive and arrogant. Ye was a mutual friend of Haoyi and Oh Young and had a crush on her, but she never really felt the same way about Ye. Oh Young had gotten into a relationship with a guy named Yuze suddenly after Valentine's Day, and not a long while into their relationship, Yuze ended it after humiliating Oh Young in front of a huge audience. This breakup took a huge toll on Oh Young's mental health, and that was the reason she got so crazy and obsessive about Haoyi ever since. After listening to the backstory of Oh Young, Xia seems to be a little troubled when Haoyi assures her that she should not worry while remarking on how he will handle the situation with Oh Young himself. The explanation doesn't seem to fit quite right with Xia, who doubts the fact that Oh Young is just a friend to Haoyi. Sometime later, after Xia came to Haoyi's place, he goes to visit Lin at the hospital to give her the fruits that Oh Young bought. But Haoyi ends up getting quite a lot of trouble when the nurse at the reception ends up recognizing him as Sandy's boyfriend, getting angry, assuming that he is cheating on her. Haoyi somehow makes it to Lin's room to have a chat after giving her the fruits, and tells her about how Oh Young takes Lin as a friend and how she didn't come here herself as she's just scared to go to a lot of places due to events in her past. Haoyi attends his university the next day where he is greeted by Oh Young with a hug. He doesn't seem to be bothered at all by taking care of Oh Young, but Xia seems to not like this interaction all that much, leading to Haoyi's relationship with Xia being affected. Oh Young is walking back from the university after enjoying her time around Haoyi, when outside the school, she witnesses something frightening in the face of Yuze, who had returned for her. Oh Young tries to run away initially, but Yuze catches up to her and tells her about how he wants her to help him out with some cooperation with Oh Young's mom's company. The poor girl just ends up accepting without thinking much, as she is literally trembling from the fear of her past trauma inflicted by Yuze. Oh Young's condition didn't even get better at home, as she was so afraid that she just locked herself up in her room, refusing to go to school. Her mom tried to force her a little, but accepted to leave her alone when she claimed that someone was tailing her with tears in her eyes. Oh Young was really depressed when she remembered Lin's advice that she will have to stand up for herself. Surprisingly, she received a call again from Yuze right there at that moment, and Oh Young mustered the courage to reject doing anything for Yuze. This did not fit right with Yuze, as he now blackmailed Oh Young and claimed that Haoyi's life would be in danger if she didn't comply. Haoyi, who was near Yuze, is given an invitation card by one of Yuze's men to meet him up at the parking lot later. Haoyi arrives at the location, and Yuze succeeds in using his voice to manipulate Oh Young into coming his way to save Haoyi's life. The poor girl ran to help Haoyi in panic, and ended up getting kidnapped just like Yuze had planned all along. Meitata, who had seen the whole event happening, went straight to look for Haoyi after getting worried about him, and told him about the abduction of Oh Young. Oh Young gets dragged into a ruined factory by Yuze's men, where she gets up to find Yuze forcing her into following his orders. Oh Young still refuses to help Yuze despite the danger, remarking that he should look for another cooperator, but her words hurt Yuze's ego, who starts to claim that he would send nude photos of her to blackmail her mom if she won't listen to him like a good girl. While all this was going on, Haoyi had arrived outside the factory with Meitata as well. He confirms with Mei once again whether this is the right place or not. Our guy thinks about what the plan of action should be, since police cannot come to this place quickly due to it being out of range. Haoyi decides to take a gamble, and since there is no criminal record or evidence against Yuze, our guy decides to take the bullet by deciding to get beaten up by Yuze, while Meitata records the whole thing. Despite the resistance from Meitata, Haoyi explains the importance of loved ones and decides to jump into the factory to execute his master plan and save his cherished friend, Oh Young. Haoyi's life story continues as fate has planted multiple obstacles in his way to finally help out all the girls and get a life full of peace and love. Some time passes and Tsukune's life continues at the Yokai Academy, as the guy seems to be living a happy life as now he has friends around him as well. While attending class, Mocha notices a change in Tsukune's behavior, and our guy seems to be a bit disturbed, even shouting out loud during class. Tsukune's closeness with the girls had gotten him quite infamous at the academy. A weird girl in a Shinigami costume, named Guri, visits the doorstep of Aino Seiji and claims that he needs to kiss her in the next 24 hours or else he will die. As any sane man would do, Seiji doesn't take her words seriously and slams the door right on her face, hilariously ignoring her. Guri proves that she's not human, and Seiji